right, here we go. We got 5280 Sports Guys doing our MMA Minute, but this segment's going to be a little longer. Recap on last week, we had Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis. One of the things I noticed was that Curtis Blades kept ducking his head under to try and go with the overhead right, and he was cleaning. He was not getting shots. Derek Lewis was just timing. Cold clock. Put him to sleep. Need a sleeping bag and all that stuff. So I pretty much put my bet on that Derek Lewis is going to go ahead and pull that win out, which he did, and it was beautifully done. I don't think Derek Lewis was as happy as winning that match as he's been with most fights. But with that being said, I want to go ahead and talk about UFC 259. That will be March 6th. It's going to be 3 belts on the line. It's a huge card. There's a few things I kind of looked at.
Why are we always at drill?
Dude,
always.
They have it like that.
Do they plan it out on the schedule?
I think we're going to do that.
Dana White, I'm going to ruin these guys' lives.
So, starting with the early prelims, there's going to be a flyweight match between Tim Elliott and Jordan Espinosa. Both of those fighters actually have there's not really a favorite on there. They're actually both 112, negative 112. Tim Elliott he's coming off of a win to where...
Don't forget to look at the camera, Song. Interact with their viewers. We just read them out of a book here.
Tim Elliott is coming off of a win, so that's good. But Espinosa actually is having a loss, and he has not really had a big fight. So fighting Tim Elliott is going to be a huge fight for him because Tim Elliott actually had a championship fight with DJ, which is Demetrius Johnson. He went the distance.
It's hard to be thought of as a thug with that name.
He's the greatest fighter ever. So if Espinosa beats Elliott, this is going to be a huge win on his, or just going to be kind of a big name for him. And with his fight record at 15-8, with no contest, and Tim Elliott going 17-11 with 1 draw, this is going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to that one. Next one, we're going into prelims. So prelims, Joseph Benavidez is going to be going up against Askar. And this one's going to be a close fight. The odds are really close. They've got Benavidez favorited by probably, I don't know, maybe 9 points. They're both pretty much in the favorite bracket. So that's going to be a really good that's going to be a close fight for sure. Joseph Benavidez has been around for a long time. He's been with Team Alpha Male for quite some time. He is coming on a 2-loss streak right now. Both of them were against Figueroa and for championship fights. And then the Askar is actually coming off of a 2-win streak, and his biggest win is Tim Elliott. So with that being said, if Askar can kind of get past Benavidez, then he's probably going to be looking at getting into some talks on taking a championship fight for sure. Next one we have with that will be... This is going to also be a prelim. We got Dominic Cruz versus Casey Kenny. Dominic Cruz is actually an underdog in this. He's at plus 100. His record's 22-3-0, but he's a former champ. This is where it gets kind of interesting. He's had his last 2 fights he's lost, but the gap span between that was Cody Garbrandt in 2016, and then he lost to... Henry Cejudo, and it was kind of a poor stoppage because the ref kind of stepped in too early, and Dominic Cruz, I feel like, still had his head about him. He did also contest that, but the thing is, he's been so in and out of competition due to injury, so I see why he is underdog coming into this fight.
So 2 fights in 4 years?
Yeah.
Or 2 losses?
2 losses. Well, yeah, it's about 2 losses or 2 fights and then 2 losses. His last 2 fights were lost.
Ouch.
Casey Kennedy is 16-2, and he's got 1 draw. He's coming off of a 3-fight win streak. He's actually had his first loss was in 2017. So he's gonna be looking at coming in and I'm going to go with Dominic Cruz because I think the guy is just so... He's so just kind of styly different. Like, the dude walks around with his guard down. He doesn't really have a guard. So, we'll see how that fight plays out, but that should be a good fight. Yeah, you know. I mean, the dude's been a champion for a while.
I like your style.
So now we get into the main card. In the main card, we got 3 fights coming up. First one is going to be a flyweight competition between Peter Yan and Sterling. Now, Sterling, me and Bartlett saw back in 2017, and he actually lost that fight. Since then, he's been he's been on a tear. He's now ranked number 1 in the flyweight division. He just beat Corey Sandhagen, and he got fight of the night for that. He's on a 5-win streak right now. Peter Yan, though, that dude is nasty. He's only got 1 loss. He's pretty much fought very big name fighters. Two of his last fights was Uriah Faber and Jose Aldo, which he KO'd both of them, and he hasn't lost in the UFC yet. So Peter Yan is obviously favored in this fight, but I think that Sterling has an opportunity to do an upset. So I'm definitely going to be going with Sterling in this fight. It'll just be nice to kind of see him take get that championship wrapped around his waist. Next one is going to be Amanda Nunes and Megan Anderson. I thought Megan Anderson had a few championship fights, but I guess in the UFC she hasn't. She's won a few fights in Invicted, and she's going to definitely be a huge underdog in this with Amanda Nunes at a negative 1250, and she's coming in at plus 175 or plus 750. She does have championship talent. She is on a 2-fight win streak. Biggest thing is that I don't know if she has the capability to take out somebody of caliber with Amanda Nunes, because I do know that she did have a fight with Chris Cyborg, which she pulled out due to personal reasons. So I think fighting somebody like Amanda Nunes, who pretty much decimated Chris Cyborg, is going to be a huge challenge for her. But they are fighting at featherweight. So with that being said, I can't go against Amanda Nunes on this. So I'm definitely saying Amanda Nunes is going to take it. She's a double champ at featherweight and bantamweight. Her last loss was Kat Zingano in 2014. And she's pretty much not only beat Kat Zingano, but she's beat every single former champ, like, across the board. Ronda Rousey, Holly Holmes, Miesha Tate, anybody that's held a belt in the women's bantamweight division, she's destroyed. And pretty much her featherweight debut, it was a championship round, she destroyed, which was Chris Cyborg. So being a double champ, I don't see her game going anywhere. I know that she's taking some time off because she's trying to raise this baby, get a family going, all that stuff. So if there's any distraction, it's just going to be because of outside stuff. But Megan Anderson, I just don't know if she is a championship. She's got championship talent, but I don't know if she's going to get it done that night. Next one we got Israel Adesanya and John. He just likes to go by John. Big thing is this is going to be a champ versus champ. We got Israel being middleweight champion, and John is actually light heavyweight champion right now. He just destroyed Dominic Reyes, who actually gave John Jones a run for his money. He has a 4-win streak with, including his title right now. If he were to beat Israel Adesanya, he's going to become one of those, his name's going to be pretty much well known. But I think even if he loses this fight, his name's going to be pretty much recognizable now because, Israel's up and coming. The dude's undefeated right now, 20 fights. He's a champion. He's beat Anderson Silva. I definitely think that if Israel becomes a double champ, I definitely think he's going to surpass Anderson Silva as one of the greatest middleweights, and he's going to definitely be in talk as being one of the greatest fighters to ever fight in the UFC. I don't see any flaws in Israel's game, so it's going to be hard to beat him because he likes to adapt to his opponent, which is very, very risky because sometimes when fighters adapt to their opponent, you almost give them the ability to start to take rounds and stuff like that. But Israel likes to get it done, so he'll adapt. And if he sees any holes, then he's going to attack those holes. So he's a very dangerous fighter. One of the things I did notice about John when I was looking up some of his history is he's a very balanced fighter. So he's got 8, just with his wins, he's got 8 KOs, 9 submissions, and 10 decisions. So he doesn't really have a favorite on how he's going to win. So I definitely see that he can take the fight any which way. If he can outscore, which in my eyes I don't think is going to be possible, but if he can outscore Israel, he can take a decision. If he can get Israel to the ground, he can submit him, and he definitely has got some heavy hands. The way he knocked out Dominic Reyes was pretty vicious, so he's got the ability to knock him out too. But Israel's just, that dude's named the Style Bender for a reason. So Israel's got it all day. The underdog, obviously, in this is going to be John, with Israel coming in as a favorite at 250. John's going to be plus 200. So, by the way, I've been hopping on DraftKings, doing the sports book and all that stuff. So, if you want to go ahead and take those odds, they're out there. Put some money in it. Get that rack going. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, that's all I got, though, So, this has been MMA Sports Minute. We're going to get it in, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.